Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Cody. I do sewing and fashion videos, so please subscribe if you haven't. So today we're going to be making this beautiful bralette top. If you want to know how to make this, please keep on watching. Measurements to be needing are our underbust circumference, our chest to underbust, and also the middle of our chest, middle of our bust area to our side bust. So I'm going to be using 7 inches. We're going to also add 1 inch for sewing allowance. So now I'm going to be cutting out 8 inches totally. I'm going to be cutting a square of 8 inches. All sides be 8 inches. So I'll be measuring that on my fabric on a fold, and I'll be cutting that out. Once you've done that, you'll also be cutting out the same thing on your lining fabric as well. So now onto our bustier proper, I'm going to be folding that into 2, and then I'll be folding from the center point in a triangular form, and that triangle I made now, I'll be cutting it out. Please remember that the pointy edge will be facing the folded edge. So this is how it's supposed to be looking. And then with my chalk, I'm just going to be curving out that line. I don't want it to be sharp, so I'm curving out that line so I can remove the sharp edge I'm having there. Once I remove it, this is how your pattern is supposed to be looking. So you're going to be doing this same thing to both your remaining fashion fabric and also your 2 linings as well. Once done with that, this is how it's supposed to be looking. And now you're going to be taking this to your sewing machine. You're going to be stitching this together. You're going to be folding it and stitching it on that line, on that curved line. I'm going to be using 1/8 of an inch. So once you're done, this is how it's supposed to be looking. I use the very small sewing allowance, so this is how it's supposed to be looking. Everything is curvy and bouncy, so I'm just trimming off any excess and any unevenness on it, so I'll have a flat piece. So now I also want to teach you guys this trick. If you have your fabric and the edge isn't regular, what you just need to do is take your scissors, make a notch, and then just strip everything out. It will give you a seamless, clean, straight line. So now for our loops, I'm going to be making 1.5 inches, and also with the method I showed you as well, I just snipped that and I also just dragged it and pulled it, and it gave me my 1.5 inches strips exactly as I want it. So I'm going to be taking to my sewing machine, and I'll be folding the 2 edges and then folding it at the middle as well, and I'll be stitching on the line. This method is better than the whole sewing and then turning in and out method. So this is how to do it. When you're done, it should be looking like this. And then to attach it to our cups, I just placed it on my fashion fabric and took my lining and placed it on top as well. I'll be pinning that, and I'll be taking it to my sewing machine to make a stitch, half an inch stitch round the cup. Once done stitching that, you're just going to be trimming off the eggs. We don't want any bulk inside our bralette, so I'm trimming off the excess before I then turn it inside out. After turning it inside out, this is how it's supposed to be looking. You can see how seamless and beautiful it's looking already. So I'm just taking off any excess and unevenness. Please remember to do this so you don't actually have mistakes along the way. So just remember to take out any excess or unevenness. So once I'm done doing that for the second piece, this is how it's supposed to be looking. And then for our main bodice piece, I'm taking my fabric and I'm cutting out 6.5 inches with our underbust circumference. My underbust circumference was 29, so I'm taking out a length of 29 inches with a width of 6.5 inches. Remember that in that 6.5 inches, I already have 1 inch for sewing allowance included in that. So I'm just taking it out. Like I said, just snip it and then strip it. So this is how it's supposed to be looking. You also do that as well and cut out a lining piece. So after cutting out the lining piece, you place both of them right side facing, sorry, and then you make a stitch. This is how it's going to be looking after stitching it together. I also top stitch the lining piece as well, so it won't roll over. So I'm also folding this point now, and I'll be marking the middle point and snipping it because we're about to place our bra cups and we want it to be centered on the middle point. So once I do that, I'm placing my bra cups, and from the center point, I'm just pinning, making sure that it lays flat on our bodice fabric. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your bell notification so you get notified every single time I post a new video. You don't want to miss out. So I'm also doing the same thing to the other cup as well. And please, this top is actually reversible. If you want it to be reversible, just use a two fashion fabrics. I just used a fashion fabric and a lining, but if you want it to be reversible, use two fashion fabrics. Instead of a lining, you just use another beautiful fabric and it will be totally reversible. I'll show you how to do that in a second. So to make it reversible, I'm putting every single thing inside, and with the lining piece, I'm going to be stitching everything, enclosing it inside the fabric piece. So you can see that I'm done stitching it, and I'll be turning everything inside out. And once you turn everything inside out, you see that everything is coming out smoothly, no seam lines or anything. Like, it's so seamless. You can see how it's looking so beautiful already. We are not even done safe. Please do not forget to iron your pieces. You can see what I'm talking about. It's completely reversible, so you can do so many designs with this. So to actually add my lacing, I'm going to be removing 2 inches from our original measurement. So half of my underbust measurement, my underbust width is 29. Half of it, I'm going to be removing 2 inches from it. So that's going to be later on from our lacing. Once I've removed this, I'll be cutting it out. Like, we don't need it anymore. And then remember, we are going to be making strips as well to form our lacing. For our lacing loops, I made 1.5 inches strip. You can also make it 2 inches. I prefer 1.5 inches strips. And then taking our bodice, we're going to be folding the seam allowance in by half an inch, and then folding our loops and placing it inside that seam allowance and pinning it down. So you can watch how I'm doing it. You can slow the video down so you can understand how I'm doing it. So this is how it's supposed to be. I just made 2 loops for each part of my bodice. Simple as that. Once you've done that, you take it to the machine and you stitch it down. And this is how it's supposed to be looking. Our top is literally done and beautiful. Like this top, you can literally rock it anywhere, anytime. So I hope you hope you make this top. And if you do, please tag me. Please tag me. I would love to see your creations. You can see how beautiful this top is on my model. Like, guy, you don't want to miss this. So please subscribe to my channel and also check out some of my other amazing videos. You do not want to miss out on those. So guys, see you guys next time. Love you. Bye.